Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to another video, and today I'm going to be talking about the brand new Marvel's Avengers Spider-Man DLC trailer that we received yesterday from Square Enix and Crystal Dynamics. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and support the channel. I really appreciate that, and I really appreciate all the amount of views and support that I've gotten on that last video I did for the Spider-Man No Way Home poster. And let me just say this: thank you so much for all the support on that video. Like, it was just, I didn't expect to get that many views or likes and all that, but thank you. And I even gained a couple of subscribers from that, so thank you so much. But anyways, let's get into this. So we already knew that a year ago, this was a year ago when this happened, that Square Enix and Crystal Dynamics, the creators and developers of the Marvel's Avengers video game that had released last year in 2020, we already knew about the announcement they made last year where they announced that Spider-Man will be coming to Marvel's Avengers exclusively for PlayStation users, which means, of course, that if you have either a PS4 or PS5, you will be able to play as Spider-Man in the Marvel's Avengers video game. But if you don't have a PlayStation console, if you play on Xbox or PC, unfortunately, and I'm sorry, to tell you this to you guys, for some of you who are Xbox users, you will not be able to play as Spider-Man for your version of Marvel's Avengers, which I know it sucks, but it's like Sony, they got the rights to the characters, and they can do whatever they want with him. So yeah, but in this video I'm gonna be giving you all my thoughts about the way how he looks and what we've seen in this trailer. And let me just say this. I'm not particularly too excited about him being in the game. First of all, let me just be straight with you guys. I haven't played Marvel's Avengers in a year. Because I only played, like I said, the only time I played Marvel's Avengers was, let's see, I did the main story for the game, and then I remember, I think it was in December last year, I did the Kate Bishop DLC, and that was it. After that, I haven't played Marvel's Avengers since. So, yeah. And, there's plenty of reasons why no one really likes Marvel's Avengers, including me, because, I remember I even gave a review on that game, and I said it was an okay game, but the thing that I'm trying to make here, the number one, the point I'm trying to make is that I'm not particularly too excited about Spider-Man's, involvement in this game. And the reason why is because we saw how they handled the other characters, and it did not work. Because, one, the game did not work as a whole, because the game was a live service game, and the way how they run things with Marvel's Avengers is just a mess. The game was a mess. And we already know how it had kind of a horrible launch. It basically had the same launch like Cyberpunk 2077 last year. And that's kind of why I stopped playing Marvel's Avengers for a whole year. Because they did not, the gameplay wasn't all that great. And the story was great, but the gameplay and everything else about it, it did not work. And the side missions sucked, which just made it worse. And in this video I'm gonna be giving you a little, I'm gonna show you why I'm worried about Spider-Man in this game. Because first of all, his design actually does not look bad. His design actually looks kind of cool, though. I'm not gonna lie, I kind of do like the suit, but I don't really like the mask that they gave Spider-Man in this game. It looks it looks weird, and I know they're trying to do the whole thing where his islands is squint and all that and adjust, but I just think that Insomniac, when it comes to animations for Spider-Man, Insomniac Games, who have developed and done Marvel Spider-Man PS4 and Marvel Spider-Man Miles Morales, they do a better job with the animations for those characters in those exclusive games. And Insomniac, I think Insomniac just handled the character I said, Insomniac Games did an incredible job when it came to Spider-Man's combat, his story arc for those games, and then with Miles Morales, they did a great job with Miles Morales' gameplay, especially since, Miles Morales was one of the first PS5 launch games that came out last year, when the PS5 had launched. And you know how the haptic feedback of the controller for the DualSense controller and all that, they added much more to that game. You know, like when it came to the gameplay, they made the gameplay more immersive and just more fun. Like, and that's the key word to all of this, is that Insomniac Games have fun games. And the thing is, Spider-Man PS4 and Spider-Man Miles Morales were fun. Avengers was not fun. And I'm just worried about Spider-Man's, you know, combat and gameplay in this game, because we already saw how they handled the character's gameplay before, and it wasn't all that great. Like, for me, I thought the gameplay was okay, but it wasn't great. It wasn't good. It was just okay. That's the only way to really describe the gameplay for that game. And I'm just very worried to see how they're going to handle Spider-Man with his gameplay in Marvel's Avengers, because one, if you look at the trailer, he looks really stiff when he's fighting and when he's web swinging. It just looks weird. I don't know why they made him like fight like that. I mean, he's kind of moving like Spider-Man, but I just think in some of that games, when it came to the animations and the gameplay, they just did a better job, like, in general, when it came to, you know, developing his gameplay and all that. Like, when it came to all the animations and, like, the web swinging, and, like, the traversal, all that. Like, they just did a much better job. And I don't think Square Enix and Crystal Dynamics, I don't think they're going to do that much of a great job with his gameplay. Now, his design, it's like I said, his design does look kind of cool, though. Like, I kind of do like the suit. The suit actually does look kind of cool. And it kind of looks like Andrew Garfield's suit a little bit. If you look at it, like, it's kind of got, like, a MCU / Amazing Spider-Man look to it, which I kind of like about that. That's kind of what I like. I kind of like that about his suit. The reason why I say MCU kind of look is because of how, like, you know, they're doing the whole thing where Spider-Man's lenses squint and adjust and all that. But I just think, like I said, in Insomniac Games, they did a better job with that, with the animation for the lenses, like for the lenses, you know, adjusting and all that. But it's just, oh my god, I don't know what to say, really. It's just, they're not gonna handle his gameplay. It's just, it's not, like I said, like, I'm not particularly excited about this DLC or anything like that. I mean, believe me, I will watch people's, like, gameplay walkthroughs of his DLC gameplay. I'll watch it to see where the story goes, but I'm not gonna play this game again for Spider-Man, because I already have one game company that I trust in when it comes to Spider-Man games, and that is literally Insomniac Games. I trust them. Like I said, if I had to compare, like, for game companies, like, with their superhero games, Insomniac Games, they handle, like, bro, Insomniac Games is just a better game developing company when it comes to making superhero games. Square Enix and Crystal Dynamics, like, superhero games are just not their thing, really. I would just rather just stick to Tomb Raider games, and, like, they can, you know, still do their Final Fantasy games. Like, literally, that's all they need to stick to. I have been keeping up to date, you know, with the story for Marvel's Avengers, because I know how after that they did the Kate Bishop DLC, and then this year, I remember at the beginning of this year, they came up with the Hawkeye DLC, and then they came up with the Black Panther DLC a couple months ago. And now Spider-Man is going to be coming to Marvel's Avengers this month on November 30th. That is when he's going to be arriving in Marvel's Avengers, and he will be fully playable then. And yeah, and it's not too much to, I can't really say a whole lot just yet. Like I said, because I thought they were actually going to show gameplay, but they didn't. They just showed a cinematic trailer, because that's all this is. But it's just that I'm just giving you guys reasons, like, why I'm kind of worried about the gameplay, and especially the dodging mechanics in Marvel's Avengers were not good. Because, like I said, Marvel Spider-Man and Marvel Spider-Man Miles Morales, those two games, their combat was very fluid, it was very smooth, and it was perfect. The gameplay for those two games are perfect. But Marvel's Avengers, the gameplay for that game was just very clunky. It didn't really stick the landing. Like, that's just the best way to put it. The gameplay for Marvel's Avengers just did not stick the landing, because I didn't like how the characters were moving with their combat and all that, and it felt like I was just playing, like, pressing the same button over and over again in order to take enemies down. Whereas in Marvel Spider-Man Miles Morales, those two games, you could, like, mix it up a little. Like, when it comes to, like, combat and all that. Like, you can actually mix up your moves and all that. Try new combos. And, you know, use your gadgets in those two games. Because you can also use your gadgets to create new combos and all that. Like, to mix up your fighting style. Because here's the thing. Marvel Spider-Man, Marvel Spider-Man, Miles Morales, those two games had more variety. Insomniac games, they put more variety into their games. Whereas in Square Enix and Crystal Dynamics, they just recycle their stuff. Like, they keep, you know, constantly using it over and over and over again. Like, there's nothing really new. It's just not, they don't do, they just, I have no idea what to say, really. It's like, I don't know. It's just they didn't do a good, like I said, Marvel's Avengers was just not what we all thought it was gonna be, really. Like, we were all kind of shocked by the final product of the game, like what it came, like what its final, you know, what its final look was like, and all that, you know, what its final mechanics were. Like, it's just, the game was just not what we thought it was gonna be when it had launched. And we were all disappointed. I can understand why people were disappointed and all that. And considering the fact that it's a live service game, which makes it worse on top of that. And it's just, yeah. I just hope that they just, oh my god, I hope they do him justice in this game. But I mean, just look at his web swinging. This is the trailer that I've been showing this entire time. Look at the web swinging. Look how stiff he looks. Like, literally, look how stiff he looks when he web swings. Look at this. Like, what is that? What is that? What is that? Like, why is he doing that little, was that a kitty cat crawl? What was that? It just, dude, look, like, like, what is that? And I know this is kind of, you know what, for the title of this video, you're probably going to see that's going to say a rant video, because this is a bit of a rant I am doing. Cause it's just, dude, the animation, look at the animations. Look at the animation of his web swinging. It just looks bland. Like, I don't know. It just, why does he, like, move so slow? Like, look how he moves. He moves kind of slow. It's weird. Like, I just think his movement looks off. That's the best way to put it. Where in the Marvel Spider-Man games, you could do much more with the web swinging. Because they, like I said, their traversal mechanics in those two games were perfect. And like I said, in my opinion, Marvel Spider-Man and Marvel Spider-Man Miles Morales, those two games, in my opinion, had the best web swinging mechanics ever. And I played other Spider-Man games in the past before, like way before Insomniac did the Spider-Man games. Like, this is like years before, you know, Insomniac started working on the first Spider-Man game and all that. Like, I played other games in my past, other Spider-Man games in my past. And when Marvel Spider-Man came out, the first one, I was blown away by the web swinging. It was so incredible. And then when Miles Morales came out, they improved the mechanics even more. And like, you can even, there was, and like you said, in those two games, you can even do air tricks and all that with the web swinging. And even with Miles Morales, since he has like the Venom blast, you can literally like do like a Venom boost in the air while you're web swinging. It was just great. Insomniac, I think they're a much better game company than Square Enix when it comes to superhero games, because they nailed Spider-Man, and they're even making a Wolverine game. Because those two games have received so much praise. The first Spider-Man game and Miles Morales, those two games received so much praise that they're even making a Wolverine game. And I know that's going to be great, because why? Because it's in Insomniac's hands. And when it comes to superhero games, I'm always going to trust Insomniac, because they know what they're doing when it comes to story, gameplay, character development, all of that. They're great with everything when it comes to the superhero games. And from those two Spider-Man games, the first one in Miles Morales, great. And then now that they're also going to be coming out with Marvel Spider-Man 2 in 2023, I know that is going to be incredible, because they're going to do so much more with that game, because you're going to have both Peter Parker and Miles Morales in that game. But Marvel's Avengers, it's just not, they did not do a good job when it came to handling these characters, because first of all, it's a live service game, the gameplay was trash, the story was the only thing that was good out of everything. It was just the story. But I know I just went on a complete rant, guys. This is a rant video, basically. Yeah. But leave it down in the comment section below. Like, what do you guys think about Spider-Man in this game? Are you guys excited about him arriving to Marvel's Avengers? Leave it down in the comment section below and let me know. And thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. I'll make another video talking about this when there's new information out. And I will see you guys later. Peace out.